This is Richie Rollins from Comics, Beer, and Sci-Fi at the Fantastic Con in Toledo, Ohio. And today I'm standing with
Bruce Wechtenhiser.
Bruce Wechtenhiser, who's been a Spider-Man fan for over 50 years.
Yes, 55 years of connecting and collecting, that's what I say. And I'm here to do my presentation and then maybe sell a few things too.
How did this start? What was your first moment that this all started?
Well, just like any other hero, I got an origin story, right? So my older brothers and sisters were watching cartoons, and the first Spider-Man cartoon in the 1967-68 era was on TV, and they called me over. They're like, "Bruce, check out this new cartoon." I said, "What the heck is a Spider-Man?" And I just fell in love with the character. A couple months later, my brother brought me home my first comic book. I went to more comic books, and I'd never stopped.
How much would you say, how many pieces do you have to your collection, would you say?
Well, that fluctuates. I'm a collector that buys, sells, and trades a lot. But in fact, one time right before I got married, I sold 400 items to one person. I wasn't giving up, but I sold a lot of items. But I'd say I'd probably have about 1,000 pieces right now. But with comic books added on, that probably goes up to 2,000.
Do you have a favorite comic book like issue?
Well, as far as reading it, there's a cool issue that Steve Ditko did. And there's a cool connection to Steve Ditko, the creator of Spider-Man, the first 38 issues. I've lived in his hometown my whole life. So that's another connection that gives me goosebumps. But I like his issue number 33 where Spidey has to lift up tons of material that has fallen upon him, or else he's going to drown because he's underwater in this headquarters of Dr. Octopus. Plus there's a serum that he needs to grab there to save Aunt May's life. So if he's not getting out, he's dying, and so is Aunt May. And of course, Spidey saves the day.
He says goosebumps, but I know that's really his Spidey sense.
That's my Spidey sense going off all the time, and something evil's going on somewhere.
What did you feel about the new movies coming out?
I loved all the movies. I'm very particular about Spider-Man Entertainment. I loved all of them. Haven't seen a bad one yet.
And do you have a favorite, outside of comic books, do you have a favorite object that you just like?
My favorite item in my collection is a little AM radio that was like in the shape of Spider-Man's shoulders and head. And it was purchased for me by my mother for Christmas when she really didn't have much money, and it was a high-ticket item in 1973, $25 for this radio. Typical toys were $6 to $10, and I don't know how she made it happen, but that ended up underneath the Christmas tree, so that's the one I'm most connected to as far as memorabilia goes. And I've got a lot of memorabilia. I've really kind of specialized in that the last 30 years. I don't have the biggest Spidey collection in the world, but I have a nice one, but that's my most emotional piece.
Do you have a man cave or a Spidey cave?
I have a very small Spidey cave. I'm allowed to put things on the walls in the lower level of my home. It's in the weight room and game room that my children and I use, so only on the walls. And upstairs, I'm not allowed to put stuff. I don't know how that happened in my split level home. The vote was 1-1, and still I lost the vote. So Spidey on the lower level, but not in the upper level.
It's like a hero, he sacrifices for the greater good.
Exactly. But and I've been doing these presentations only the last 6 months, and I've gone to about 14 conventions, and I have to apply to do my presentations about my life and about Steve Ditko. I have 2 different presentations, but it's been cool. I set up a website called SpideyandMe.com, so if anybody wants to check out my website and see where I'm going or see interviews that I've done in the past, it's been fun because other than this, I'm a math teacher during the week. I'm a high school math teacher. And sometimes on the weekends, I get to go out and do some fun things and be Spider-Man.
You said you had kids. Are they like typical kids? Do they rebel against your Spidiness, or do they accept and enhance your Spidiness?
They embraced it, man. They embraced it. My son's 6'4". He's a high school pitcher, and his high school colors happen to be red and blue. And he's known as Spidey because of me. And so when he's playing his rival team and they're trying to interact with him and distract him as a pitcher, they call him Spidey, Spider-Man. He strikes out the first guy, he turns to their bench, and he shoots the webs on the whole bench. And my daughter has her first tattoo ever was a Spider-Man on her rib cage, so they couldn't help it. They were indoctrinated to the Spidey love.
All right, so thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
And this is Richie Rollins signing off for Comics, Beer, and Sci-Fi. Keep on watching.